What is going on, YouTube? Welcome back to another video, and today I have the long-awaited, highly anticipated 1 year 15,000 mile review for my 2023 R7, and we're going to chat about what I love about it, what I hate about it, and we're going to ride while we're doing it. So let's go. So I have had this bike for just over a year. We just passed the 15,000 mile mark. It's 15,340. I feel like I'm in a pretty good position to talk about its pros and cons. So I've also had a lot of bikes, a lot of different kinds of bikes, smaller bikes, bigger bikes, etc. Cruisers, sport bikes, whatever it might be. This is probably the most miles I've ever put on a single bike, you know, in such a short amount of time. So just like I said, 15,000 miles in 14 months or so is a pretty good chunk of miles. You know, I held the opinion when I bought this bike that it was the best mid-size sport bike for the money, and I still do think that even in 2024, that for what you get with this bike, it still is some of the best mid-size sport bike, intro level to super sport that you can get, for the sheer price point and for the value of your money. So it's not just commuting miles, it's not just sitting in traffic, and it's also just not high RPM miles. I've done all of that. I've had it sat in Florida traffic in the heat, going no miles an hour in first and second gear. I've had it rev limited in sixth gear, you know, as fast as it could possibly go. I've also taken it to the tail of the dragon 3-4 times now. So it's been all over the place in all different kinds of riding, all different kinds of weather. To Yamaha's credit, I haven't had a single issue, right, with this bike. Not a single one outside of your normal maintenance. I haven't had a mechanical issue, an engine issue, nothing. I've replaced the chain, I've done 4 oil changes, we've gotten 1 set of new tires. Regardless of all that, let's talk about the pros and the cons. Big group of people that think that the R7 is a good starter bike. I'm not in that category. I don't agree that it's a starter bike. I think it has way too much torque. I think it has way too much top end for somebody that is just starting out. However, I want to preface that by saying, if you are getting a mid-size sport bike and you are going to start there regardless of what anybody says, or you have previous experience with dirt bikes or just riding experience in general, it can be a decent place to start. It is not a beginner bike though, but by any means it's not a first time on a motorcycle bike. I've sold way too many of these to people right out of an MSF class and watched them drop them in the parking lot. Literally, too much power, don't know how to keep it up, just boom, right? And you might say, oh, well, those people probably shouldn't be riding at all. Sure, but if you're going to get a bike, you want to get something that's going to not only fit you size-wise, fit you power-wise, but also be forgiving. So if you're first starting out, you need something that's going to forgive you for your mistakes and will help you with that learning curve, okay? But again, prefacing that with, if you're going to start in the mid-size sport bike range anyway, it is the best one you can start with if you're starting in a 600s range. They took the power of the R6, they neutered it, so you lose your top end, you lose your horsepower, but you do still have a lot of torque. I mean, the thing is an instant wheelie machine. You can pop it up without even using the clutch at all, just smack in first gear and up comes the front wheel. In 2023 to 2024, the bike hasn't really changed much at all. It's pretty much the same outside the color livery. This is the Intensity White with the orange wheels. It came in the Yamaha blue as well as the black in 2023, and then in 2024 they kept that blue, added a little bit of matte touches. Same thing with the black, they had a gloss and then a matte, and then outside of that the custom color was the gray with a teal and purple. Look at these love bugs. These love bugs are wild. They're just everywhere flying around. So bike itself stayed the same, color livery, the colorway, etc. changed a little bit, but that's why I can tag this 2023 and 2024 review, because it's the same bike. First and foremost, the bike looks amazing. It's one of the best looking mid-size sport bikes that there is as far as actual visuals, right? I just think, and again, that's personal opinion, but I just think that that's one of the huge pros for the bike. It just looks super pretty from the front. It has a really good front stance. The front of the bike just looks mean. Visuals 10 out of 10, but also easily customizable for everyone. When I got this, the only thing I changed was the exhaust, the windscreen, and the tidy tail. Now I did take off, I guess I took off the turn signals that are sticking out, but again, super easy to customize all those things, super easy to work on. Definitely in the pro category for customization and for ease of maintenance. You can do all your maintenance yourself if you're handy. Oil changes at home. You know, it's not a Ducati. You don't have to plug it into a computer every time you want to work on it, right? So that's a big plus. Price point. The price point is awesome. It's at the bottom range of pretty much all of your mid-size 600 style sport bikes. For $9,200 is what it MSRPs for. It's $2,000 to $3,000 cheaper than pretty much everything else in the class, okay? And because of that, and for what you're getting, that's why I think it's the absolute best bang for your buck money-wise. You got all of these things going for it: visuals, accessibility, ease of maintenance, cost. I mean, if you can deal with not having a top speed of over 137, you know, and you can deal with having a little bit of a short gear, again, this is it right here. Comfortability, adding on to that, it's super comfortable. It's one of the more comfortable mid-size sport bikes that I've been on as well. You're not leaned so far over like a ZX6 where you feel like you're gonna fall forward, or even like the the Aprilia. It's kind of, you just sit nice and flat. It's agile. It only weighs 414 pounds. So size-wise, comfortability, great. It's also really, really good for maneuverability. So if you are using it as a daily, like I did, I pretty much am on this every day to work, and I'm in traffic and, you know, filtering, lane splitting, whatever. It's super nimble. It responds very, very easily and very quickly, right, to your body movements, which is very important if you are in traffic and, you know, you need to be able to react quickly and move around cars. So let's move into the cons category, right? Really, one of the biggest things and one of the biggest detractors is the power. So your power band, if you're looking for, you know, something in the entry-level super sport and into that 600, it really does not compare to its competitors power-wise. And I mean that not just in a, oh, it can go X amount of speed top end. I'm talking about out of first gear. Once you hit second into third, you're getting smoked by pretty much every bike in the class, okay? I mean, the 636, your CBR, the GSXR, once you're out of first gear, over. And it really only keeps up in first to second gear because of that torque, right? So you're instantly off the line, you got a lot of power, but then it flattens out and you're banging through gears really, really fast, whereas your other bikes in the class are gonna have that longer drawn out power band. For me, right, that wasn't a big enough detractor for the price point to what I was getting for the value to steer me away from it. I mean, again, the 636 retails for $11,400 MSRP, so we're talking $2,000, $2,100 right out the gate, right? Just for that extra horsepower, and you get a little bit meaner of a seating position, which again, if you're in on a daily, I don't really like that. I don't really think it's comfortable. Another con would be if you're a taller person, the bike's a little small. I'm 6'3", on longer trips, on faster runs, I'm pretty cramped up. My knees are pretty high, so if I have to lean over, if I have to tuck, I'm going to be pretty cramped up and uncomfortable for those longer trips. Now, I know I said that comfortability is great. It is great. If you're sitting like this, if you're sitting upright, you're just meandering through traffic, whatever it might be. If you're taller, however, that can definitely switch the other way, and that curve of comfortable to uncomfortable can be a lot sharper. So that's again why taller people, bigger people end up getting the bigger bikes, heavier bikes, because the frames are a little longer, there's a little bit more weight there, and it tends to be a little bit more comfortable for somebody with a bigger frame. So for me, that's one of the biggest reasons I'm going to be upgrading, is going to be the size of the bike, not just the size of the engine, but the actual space and room that I will have on it. It's tough because I haven't had any problems with this bike. I put it through a lot of miles, a lot of different scenarios, different situations, and different riding conditions, and it's held up really, really well. So I am a little biased in my own experience because it's been a great experience. But I also will say that I'm very aware of where it sits in the class and category, right? And what it's good for. So it makes a perfect track bike if you're looking to get into the track. It makes a perfect daily commuter if you just need something that you can be on all the gears and actually use all the bike, but still not have too much power or, be too uncomfortable on a super sport, on a true super sport. But again, the biggest draw for me, and this is where I'll kind of wrap it all up, is the price point for what you get in this motorcycle is, in my opinion, the best bang for your buck in total if you're looking for a mid-size, mid-class sport bike. It does everything. It does everything that you could possibly want, unless you're really looking for that higher end power band, which a lot of people, getting into the sport, a lot of people do. They think they want to go really, really fast. They think they need that, really sharp acceleration outside of second gear. And on one hand, I get it, but again, there's a time and a place for that, and there's a purpose for those bikes. And I think that the R7 does a phenomenal job at what it's good at and where it fits. Let me know if you disagree or if you agree in the comments below. I'd love to hear some feedback. Other people that have the bike, or they're thinking about getting it. And again, if you're new here, thanks for stopping by. Make sure you hit the little button to do the things with the subscribe and the bell and, the YouTube stuff that helps me out. I appreciate it, and we'll see you on the next one.